design of your company. Now, submission naman po nun is going to be, if you're going to look at the calendar, let's go to Google Calendar na lang para mas malaki. Yan. Masarap ang hindi pa nagsasalita. Okay, so yan. So, you can see here, so di ba November na tayo, malapit na tayo matapos. So, isa, dalawa. So, isa, yung Internet of Things, isi-discuss natin. And then, pagdating ng December, we will be discussing about digital design. Ano yung mga digital design, colors. Then you're going to come up with a design or a logo for your company or business in the near future that would incorporate all of that. Okay, so pag-uusapan natin yun. So ang deadline po noon would be during the final week, which is going to be from during the final week ng submission noon. Okay, so you have to come up with your own logo or branding for your company. Okay, so kanya-kanya po yung design. Individualized po yan. Okay, so yan. Okay, so let me go ahead and start with the discussion. Okay. Now, since we're talking about cyberspace, pero yung mga basic terms na dapat nating tandaan is somehow being left out. Para this will have an equal footing in terms of sa internet devices, although internet terms, although hindi naman tayo what you call this, hindi kayo actual na magko-connect or gagawa. Pero at least only familiar lang kayo sa mga terms na yun. Okay? So let's gonna be talking about the introduction of the internet. Okay? Now, under the introduction of the internet, always remember that the internet actually started with the ARPANET. So ito yung pinagsimula niya, which is the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, which is under the part of the military. So this was back in 1967 under the U.S. Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is part military. Now, it became a reality by interconnecting it with 4 university computers. Okay? And then afterwards, it was not only with the university computers, but also other agencies in the government and other companies as well. Okay. Now, let me just have a brief background on the different internet definitions or terms. Unang-una pong tatandaan natin is ARPANET. As we mentioned, this is Advanced Research Project Agency Network, which is the precursor of the internet. Then you have ASCII, which is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, so this is actually the ones that is responsible giving the IP address. Okay, and then afterwards you have also URL, which is defined as Uniform Resource Locator, which is the unique name for an internet site. Okay, so for us, it's TBL, yung URL natin is www.tbl.umac.edu.ph, diba? So yan. And then you have also WW, World Wide Web. Okay, so this is the universe of hypertext servers. Okay, now for you to be able to access the internet, you need to have a browser. Now, this is a software or a program inside our computers, our tablets, our cell phones that would allow you to look up or connect to the www resources. Okay? And then you have also the domain name. Okay? So ito yung name ng internet site. So sa atin, it's TBL. Okay? Or tama, UMAC. UMAC. That's the UMAC. That's a domain name natin. Okay? Then you have also email. So we all know what email is. You have been receiving it. Okay, so this is actually a text or a message that is sent from one person to another using the computer. Now, this time, hindi lang po computer, hindi na po lang yan. You can actually send it through via your tablets, your cell phones, and it's stored over the cloud. Okay, so yung cloud, hindi po yung ulap sa himpapawid, but this is actually the virtual space where the World Wide Web can be found, where the internet is part of. Okay? Now, Just to share with you an experience that I have with somebody, elderly siya, na professor ng UMAC, although she has already retired. Now, she had this question, and I'm not sure if I've shared it with you already. Um, she was asking me back in 1998, guys. So, alam ko, hindi pa kayo pinapanganak, kaya tama na. Hindi pa kayo pinapanganak nun. O pinanganak na ba kayo? Anyways, baka wala pa kayong muwang nun. Okay? So during that time, the question that was asked of me was that if in case somebody sent her an email, okay, would it be lost on the internet? Okay, so that was the question. So sa loob ko, of course, she was already in her senior year, so definitely it's a different it's a generation gap na between me and her kasi she's older generation, medyo bata-bata pa ako noon, and I have a little bit background when it comes to this kind of thing. So sabi ko sa kanya, ma'am, don't worry po, kasi before may uso yun yung nanakaw yung mga sulat sa post office, yan. So ma'am, hindi po siya katulad ng post office, yun in-explain ko. If you're not able to open it, it will stay in the web. Okay? Now, the only time it's gonna be taken out is unless na dinelete mo siya or spam yung email na yon. Tapos meron kang programming or plano na kung saan yung mga spams would be automatically deleted from your set. So, yan. So, medyo nakampante naman siya. Okay? So, yeah. So, that is for email. Then you have another term, which is client. Our client. So this is actually a computer that is being using services from another computer. So usually it's not just person to person. It may be a machine that is connecting to your server. So that is considered as a client. Okay. So for example, since sa supply chain kayo, you have also um, the system that is connecting to your computer to make the purchases is what you also call a client. Then you have the term host. So this is a software package or computer that provides a service to other computers. Okay? So pag sinabi mong hosting nun, pwede natin sabihin siya yung mismong siya yung nagbibigay ng access doon sa computers or doon sa companies that are accessing the computers. Okay? So this is actually most of the time sa mga data servers, ito yung mga tinanong na ginagamit nila. Naka-hosting sila. So an example, I think you've heard of this, Amazon. Amazon is not just only providing services in terms of delivery ng mga packages, ng mga goods. They are also offering hosting services. And usually it comes with a major price. Medyo mahal-mahal konti yung pricing ng hosting services. Okay? Kasi po, ano yan, yan yung mag-allow sa'yo, pag gumawa kayo ng website, kunyari, if you're going to go into supply management, as you have your own products that you'll be supplying to your different customers, syempre, ang uso ngayon is nakagawa kayo sa internet, di ba? So, yun po yung mangyayari doon. So, you're going to have, ano nito, your website will be placed on a host. Okay? Tapos doon sila magko-connect. Kaya minsan may mga website or mga pages na hindi na po active. Tapos makikita nyo may message doon that this page is no longer available or is no longer being hosted or supported by this hosting company. Okay? So yan. Then another one is server. Okay? So a service is any computer that makes services available to other computers. So pwede natin sabihin pag sinabi mo server, ito yung host, para yung computer mo makakonect sa host, siya yung dadaanan. Okay? So, para madali ninyo tandaan, para sinabi natin, yung server natin, para makakonect tayo sa internet, ang ginagamit natin yung server na smart. Okay? Kung smart yung provider mo. Pwede ring Globe. Pwede ring, token text, PLDT. So, those are what you call servers. Yung iba naman, meron silang tinatawag na dedicated server. Iba yung kanyang network connection, hindi siya gumagamit doon sa mga telecoms na alam natin. Yes, Mr. Arniego? Joji, you were saying something? Nakanagkaan lang. Anyways, next is modem. Okay, this is actually a device that usually is connected to a phone line. Ngayon, hindi na po yan ang ginagamit. Although later on, we're gonna be hearing some of that. Okay? And then protocol, it's actually the rules of conduct that enables computers to communicate with another computer. So there is a process. Although I'm not gonna go into the details on that one. At least maging familiar lang kayo dun sa mga terms na yan. Okay? And then PPP. So this is a protocol that allows a computer to use a telephone line and a modem to make TCP and IP connection. Okay? So noong mga panahon na 1990s hanggang early 2000, ito po ang ginagamit natin. Okay? Para mag-connect. Ngayon hindi na eh. Isang pindot mo na lang. Enable data. Pack. Parang ano yung pindot kayo sa Shopee. Ganun na lang. Okay? Madali na ngayon. Talagang sobrang laki ng diferensya ng technology natin ngayon kaysa doon sa technology na naabutan ko noon. Okay, next, another set ito, TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, that's TCP, and then Internet Protocol. So this is actually the process in which defines the internet. Now, another one is firewall. So this is actually a combination of hardware and software that separates the LAN from other connections, particularly for security purposes. So usually your firewall is a software that would prevent others from entering your system or hacking into your system. Okay? So meron kang sariling software, meron kang sariling computer that provides the firewall. Okay? And then, ito, common na naririnig nyo, bits and bytes. Ano po pagkakaiba ng bits? So, yung bit, yung pinakasimple. So, usually, it's a binary code that's 1 and 2s, while the byte, ito yung mas malalaki. So, ito usually itong ginagamit na natin yung byte. So, usually, for every byte, that is 8 bits. Okay? And then, ito, common, upload. So, you're actually transferring data. So, alam natin, upload is, is a send out, di ba? Pero if you're going to define it using computer terms, it's actually transferring data from your computer towards a different computer. Okay? And then we say download naman, you're actually getting data from a different computer that is not yours and sending it to your system. Okay? Kumbaga, kumukuha ka ng data. Upload, you're sharing your data to another computer. Okay? So, yeah. And then you have also router or router modem combination. Now, this is actually a combination of hardware that allows you to connect with a particular ISP or your connection. Pwede siyang wireless or wired. Okay? And then you have also encryption. This is actually a different kind of security feature that is added into your computer. Okay? So for example, may mga messages ka na isi-send mo sa client mo, you can actually encrypt that one. Tapos, pag hindi po, tapos magsisync yung encryption ng bawat computer sa padadalhan para pagdating doon, mababasa niya. Now, what if merong magnakaw or mag-fish out or kumuha ng kopya ng encrypted message? Kahit nabuksan niya yon, kung wala siya yung tamang sequence o yung pangtanggal ng encryption na yon, hindi niya magagawa. Gagamit siya ng kung ano-anong software para ma-encrypt yun. Pero usually, safe na safe yung document. So, if in case you are working with a supplier, business deals, it's gonna be encrypted. Okay, have it encrypted para hindi manakaw yung platform mo o yung design mo, yung logo mo. Okay? Then another one is WebBot. So this is actually a program or applets, pwedeng macros, that is used in the internet. So such bots perform repetitive functions such as posting messages to multiple news groups or doing researches for information. Now, an example of a WebBot is yung Google. Okay? Yung WebBot po ng Google, what they do is that they actually send out this programs to the different websites. So what they do is they plant these web bots on that website, and then once you type in the term of that computer, for example, Apple, ginugol mo si Apple, since meron siyang web bot doon, lahat na makukuha niyang data about Apple or any website that has the word Apple, since naka-implant na si web bot sa lahat, which is actually what's Google doing, it will be sending to the Google search engine. Okay? Tapos makikita mo ngayon. Tapos mamaya makikita mo na may nagbago doon sa website. Eh, nandoon ka pa rin. Magpapadala sa'yo ng update din yon. Okay? So that is another thing to remember. Okay? So those are actually the terms that you need to be familiar with. Okay? So let's go now directly to the introduction of the internet. So when you say internet, it's a simple term of network interlinked worldwide, okay, which is accessible to the public. Now, yung mga computers na to, it may be working by transmitting data through a special packet switching, or which is now as known as IP or Internet Protocol. Okay, so this is how it is being transmitted through packet switching. Now, we have coined the World Wide Web, and this is actually part of what makes the internet a big part. Okay? And the web lets people, organizations, and companies publish information for other people to see. So actually, it's limitless. There's no exact boundary for the internet. It's so big that you can actually employ everything there. Kaya nga, di ba, I'm not sure if you are familiar with cloud storage. Usually, it's associated with, actually, we have one sa UMAC. You have Google Drive. Alam ko per student, you have 15 gigabytes of allowable cloud storage under your UMAC ID. So, punta lang kayo sa UMAC ID nyo. Di ba? If you're going to go to your, let me just open the browser. Wait lang, wait lang. Yan. Where's the browser? Yan. So for example, here, I'm using my UMAC ID. So let's say, let's go to my UMAC ano. This is my UMAC profile, student profile. Diba? Yan siya sinasabi dyan. Anyways, lock. Ayokong, hindi ko share yan. Anyways, let me show you my, kasi ngayon ko lang siya na-open ulit eh. Hanggang ngayon ko pa lang na-open yung student ID ko. Okay. Yan. So this is my student ID. Okay. So this is the maximum that I can get. So what you can do actually, guys, is that once you go to your to log into Google, puntahan niyo yung G drive niyo. Okay? So marami kayong kung puro documents, marami kayong malalagay. Pero kung puro videos, mauubos nyo kagad yung 15 gig. Okay? Tapos yung mga sharing ng mga documents coming from your teachers, from your friends, you can actually use it here. Okay? So yan po yung libre na kasama. Guys, sa 15 gigabytes, medyo na yan, malaking bagay na yan. It's a big thing for you, especially you're studying. Okay? You can also try other cloud devices or yung mismong sharing of information on the web. You have also Dropbox. Usually associated yan sa cellphone sa Samsung kasi meron silang tie-up with Dropbox. And then may Asus Cloud din. Samsung also has that one. Yun nga lang medyo may bayad. Okay? So yan. So let me just go back to my presentation. Yan. Okay. Yan. So this time we're going to be talking about a lot of things as well. So you have what we call a web page. So these are actually the large numbers of computer documents. So here is an example of a web page on Wikipedia. Now, these are usually stored on computers around the world and are connected using hyperlinks. So yan, kaya minsan may kita nyo click here. If you open a simple let's say Wikipedia page, a lot of them are connected. Okay, so for example, let's have Wikipedia. You may say, Ma'am, ano naman yung maraming ano sa Wikipedia? Well, there is actually a smart way of utilizing Wikipedia. So, given that, syempre, you might be dubious with the sources of Wikipedia, what you can do is you can look up the source. Kung ayaw, wag niyong gamitin ito as reference. Gamitin ninyo kung saan siya kinuha. For example, yung definition na ganito. Kaya minsan may mga highlight na blue, you all know what that means. It's a hyperlink. It's gonna lead you to a particular website. Okay? Yan, ito. So, ito naka-hyperlink yung kanyang source. Ito po, kunin nyo to. Ito yung kukopyahin ninyo sa, sa references nyo. Wag itong Wikipedia na page. Okay? So that's actually one way of doing your research. So go look it up. Tapos pag nag-copy-paste kayo, paraphrase nyo naman, ha? Paraphrase nyo, you have a lot of paraphrasing tools available online, and then minimize nyo para at least hindi nyo makopya yung plagiarism kasi yan eh. Okay? So yan. So that is for hyperlinks. Let me just go back here. Okay? Yan. Now, for you to be able to look into the different pages, we have what we call the web browser. Now, we have different web browsers here. So, you have Opera here. You have our favorite Google Chrome. You have Safari if you're using a Mac. Then you have Mozilla Firefox. Actually, favorite ko to noon. Kaya lang, parang medyo slow siya kumpara sa Google Chrome. Kaya na-overtake na ni Google Chrome sa Firefox. And then you have here Internet Explorer and then the Edge. Okay, so yun yung dati. Ito yung dating ginagamit. Wala na pong IE. It's already the Edge. Ito na po yung ginagamit natin. Okay, so yan. So now your group of websites, so website is actually all of the pages that are connected via hyperlink. So yung kanina example ko sa inyo, if you're going to go back here, yung sample natin sa Wikipedia, yan, puro hyperlink yan. If you go to this, it's gonna give you another space, another page, another information. So yan, it's a collection of different pages, okay? Now, for your different pages, usually it's written using a coding language that would allow them to add pictures, sound, interactivity to instead of just a plain text. Okay? Now, what are the different services that you can actually get through the internet? Okay? So, yan. So, unang-una, email. So, we all know what email is. You actually send it. Wala na pong kartero. Medyo nababawasan na po yung trabaho ng mga kartero. Yan. And then, another one is collaboration. So, right now, this is actually an example of collaboration what we're doing. Although it's more of a meeting style, pero basic collaborations, maybe naka-tie up kayo sa isang grupo. And then, you share all of your information there. Okay, and use for example, yung sa COVID-19, that's actually a collaboration of the different manufacturers of vaccines. Yan. And then, ayan, katulad nung kanina na pinakita ko sa inyo, you have your calendars. You can actually use that. Pwede nyo i-sync yung calendar sa cellphone ninyo, dun sa computer, and then, kahit nasa labas ka, you can actually connect it. Titingnan mo, meron pala akong meeting ngayon, mamaya na tayo mag-chika-chika, something like that. Okay? Next, another one that is available, services that are provided in the net is IM. Okay? Dati, meron pang Yahoo chat noon. Ngayon wala na. Then, meron pa mo noon Hotmail chat. Meron pa noon. Ngayon wala na yon. Okay? And then, ngayon, ang uso na lang, FB messaging. Yan, meron din yatang chat sa IG and sa Twitter. Okay? I-tweet ka, i-message ka directly, private message. And then, mobility. Yan. It can actually provide you access kahit nasaan ka. Okay? You can actually go, alam mo, pwede ka na mag-work sa labas. Okay? And then, another one is web application. Yes, ito yung mga common na ginagamit natin. For example, if you want to work while studying, you have there different applications that are offered to you that you can use. Yan. Okay? O kaya yung mga applications na ayun mo in-install sa cellphone mo or sa laptop mo kasi kakain siya ng malaking data. So, you can actually do it online. Kaya yung pag-edit ng mga pictures, you can also do it online na. Hindi mo kailangan i-download si Adobe Photoshop. And another one, video conferencing. So, yung ngayon is actually an example of a video conferencing. Okay? So, you can use Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft, Microsoft also has a different video conferencing app. Okay? And then, voice messaging. Yes, ito actually meron na tayo ngayon yan. Matagal na yan meron. You can actually leave messages, di ba? Sa Facebook nagagawa natin yan. Instead of typing in, i-record mo yung voice mo, tapos yun yung ipadadala mo. Dati, ang nasa yan sa phone lang. Sa usong-uso yan sa US, yung magli-leave ka na message, call me, I need to talk to you, don't leave me, chua-chua. And then you have also audio conferencing. Ito, this is actually quite old already. Okay? Before nagkaroon ng video conferencing, kasi you need to have you have to make sure that all of your people have cameras. Kasi, ang problema kasi, yung iba, limited lang sa isang conference room lang, yung video conferencing. But yung audio conferencing, lalo yung mga malalaking companies, every meeting room nila has an audio conferencing device. So this is actually a Cisco audio conferencing. Para siyang telepono without the headset. Okay, so pag trip namin, tawag ka na magbi-meeting kami, tawag ka na sa Pizza Hut, dyan kayo magdadial. Okay? So yeah. And then, telephone services. Ito yung actually na in-offer ng dito. Voice IP. Yan. So what is this voice IP? This is actually allowing you to make phone calls without you spending a dime or money or cents on your telephone provider. Kasi po, lahat sila connected na online. Okay? Um, Kaya yung company, just to share with you yung company na inalisan ko, we call all of nakakatawag kami kahit saang mundo, saang part ng mundo, rather. Basta alam namin yung phone number and correct yung phone number namin. So, I can call my clients in Singapore, magka-conference kami ng taga Korea or taga UK, taga US, kahit na ng oras pa. Okay, basta okay lang sa kanila. Okay, so yan yung ginagamit namin, telephone IP services. Pero hindi kami nagbabayad sa smart. Binabayaran namin yung internet connection. So yan yung in-offer nandito. Yun nga lang, hindi pa lahat ng mga devices has telephone IP allowance. Okay, hindi lahat nila nire-recognize. Pero pag nakita niyo naman sa phone yung, tapos meron kayong 4G doon na nakalagay, voice IP, you can actually make a call. Hindi mababawasan yung load nyo sa smart. Okay? And then the last one is infrastructure. Now, guys, when you say infrastructure, you might be thinking building. No, it's not building. It's actually a different kind of, a higher level of web application that is available online. Okay? So, for example, pasensya na kayo if I'm using terms na ginamit ko when I was still connected with the previous company. For example, trading platform. Okay? London Stock Exchange connects to a data that is being provided by let's say Korean Stock Exchange, KSP. Okay? So hindi sila pwede sa ordinaryong internet connection. They have their own infrastructure. Okay? And that is the one that's being provided by example Amazon. Yung Amazon infrastructure, yun po yung connection nila. Okay? So hindi po siya pwedeng magreklamo. For example, and usually when you talk about infrastructure, kailangan reliable. When you say reliable, from the term reliable, hindi pwedeng bumibitaw yung connection niya. It's going to stay 100% online. Okay? Reliability. Okay? So, tapos, another thing, meron pa siyang backup. Pag yung unang linya, nagkaroon ng power outage, kailangan papasok yung backup na infrastructure o yung connection. Okay? Kasi nga, we're talking about London Stock Exchange. We're talking about Korean Stock Exchange. And every bits of data and infrastructure or information that's going to be provided for the trading platform, for traders, okay, is going to cost billions of money, losses. Okay? So, ganun yung nangyayari dyan. So, ganun po yung term na infrastructure. Now, pag nag-disconnect sila, hindi sila magre-reklamo sa Smart. Hindi sila magre-reklamo sa Globe. Magre-reklamo sila sa Amazon. Anong nangyari? Bakit ka nagkaroon ng disconnection? Bakit ako na-disconnect? Okay? So, ganun ang tanong nila. Although, parang tayo din, pero sa kanila, mas mahal. Hindi po 1,499 a month ang bill nila. Millions po. Kasi they're offering infrastructure. Pag kumonek ka dun sa web nila, guys, it's something na hindi siya yung ordinaryong Facebook lang ang connection. No, hindi. Mas mataas pa. Okay? So, yeah. So, those are the different services that are usually offered over the web. Any questions so far before I continue? Medyo malayo sa medyo more on tech. So this is actually the living in the IT era. Okay? So walang question, let's go to the next. So how to connect to the internet. So these are actually the components that allows you to connect to the computer. So you have your digital subscriber line. So this is actually a service that is delivered through the phone line. But your phone is available to you make call when you're connected to the internet. So this is yung unang-unang broadband communication which uses phone lines, fiber optics, and other transoptic transmissions. Okay? Dati ito yung ano, sa DSL ng PLDT, yon tapos nag-offer din ng Globe. Smart Bro, iba po yan. Medyo wireless na yan. Okay, pero ito yon. Yung kailangan may telepono, yung Bayan, yan. Bayan, PLDT, Globe. Gagawin namin is maglo-load kami sa Globe na prepaid line. Tapos may pipindutin kami and that's how we connect to it. Okay? Next is cable. So cable is actually another form of getting your connectivity to the internet, but this time you're actually gonna pair it with TV programming. So remember an example that the one that I included here is One Sky. So this is actually under Sky Cable. So you can actually pair up your internet with cable TV and or pwede siyang high-speed broadband. Tapos meron din silang ino-offer na mobile internet. Okay? So, yan. So far, yung iba, tinanggal nila yung cable TV, okay naman ang reliability ng One Sky. Okay? Another one is satellite. So, satellite, yung parang signal style or dish network yan. Dish and Comcast, these are actually the brands that we have that allows you to have a dish satellite talaga or disk receiver or dish receiver on your house para mag-connect ng internet. Okay, so wala siya. Usually, you get this kind of connection in the rural areas, yung walang pong infrastructure or wala pang network doon. Okay? Kumbaga ano kayo, nakakonect siya mismo sa satellite, as in sa satellite sa outer space. Doon ka kukuha. Okay? Next is wireless hotspots. Now, these are actually places that allows you to connect or piggyback. The term is piggybacking. Okay? Kumbaga parang ano yung Korean na sasakay sa likod, yon piggyback yon. Okay? So, kakargahin ka sa likod nung mismong provider. Okay? So, in most cases, you have their smart and globe wireless hotspot. So if in case you're a wireless a smart user or may plan ka sa smart tapos meron dong isang restaurant or cafe or hotel that is connected with smart or affiliated with smart, they can allow you to access for free. Kasi kasama na yung sa binabayad mo eh. Kumbaga parang ano yun eh, parang courtesy as a consumer ng smart. Sa Globe meron din. Sa SM, ang alam ko, meron silang connection. Meron kayo makikita doon, Globe free Wi-Fi when you go to SM malls. Yan. You can actually piggyback there. Papasok mo lang yung phone number mo. Pag valid yung phone number mo, you can access it. Yun nga lang, parang kinakat nila. Not exactly na unlimited siya, pero after 10 minutes, disconnect. Login ka ulit. Okay? We have example of this one is also with Hong Kong. Hong Kong, Korea, may ganito, mga hotspot sila. This is actually free services that they offer to their subscribers. So, for example, nagkaroon kayo ng extra money and you want to go to Korea or to Hong Kong or Singapore, kung bumili kayo ng ano nila, yung prepaid na SIM card, kasi pag naka-prepaid ka na SIM card ka, for example, yung isang lugar doon mahina yung signal, sa Wi-Fi kanila, wireless hotspot ka, connect. Libre yon. Kumaga parang ano na nila, tulong na nila sa iyo. Okay? Next. Ito. This is what that most of us might be using right now is cell phone network. So you actually use your cell phone provider. By the way, 3G, medyo wala, 3G pa yung iba sa atin. Pero most of time it's 4G na, tapos nagpa-5G na rin tayo. K5 generation po is mas mataas na po yung access. Yung 3G is more on low data. Ito yung 4G, yung kaya na makapaglaro ka ng AAA, yung AAA na level na games, yung ano nyo, yung Genshin nyo. Yan, yung mga ganong mga laro. Mas matataas na level na yung internet na kaya niyan. Okay, so here are the different networks that we have here in the Philippines. You have Cherry, Talk and Text, TM Smart, Sun Smart, and yeah. Now, usually for us, we don't have Wi-Fi's hotspot before. Ngayon meron na. And then, sometimes pwede siyang bilhin kasama doon sa plan. Okay? Pwede siyang prepaid, pwede siyang postpaid. Pero what I noticed when I have some friends kasi nakita nila na mahal nga yung postpaid, di ba? Mga magbabayad ka ng 1.5 to 1.7 kada buwan. Tapos, yung may limit yung internet access mo. Now, pina-compare ko sa kanila, sabi nila, although mas mura yung postpaid na wifi na unlimited, kung kinukuha niya is 300 a month, I think 300 yata or 1,000 a month. Okay, so makakamura nga siya, di ba? Kasi ang plan niya dati is 199 kada buwan. So that's almost 1,000 off. Yun nga lang, parang mas according to her, mas mabagal na daw. Although kinuha niya yung highest amount na pwede niya i-data cap para magkaroon siya ng access. Okay? Yun nga lang, mas mabilis pa rin daw yung postpaid. Kahit na mas mababa yung data plan niya, pero mas mabilis pumasok yung data. Kumbaga mabilis yung information na pumapasok sa cellphone niya. Okay? So, that is actually one thing that you need to look into. When you check, kunyari, if in the near future, nagkaroon kayo ng businesses, syempre, hindi naman pwede na lagi tayo naka-prepaid. Okay? Although maganda yung prepaid kasi mas matipid, pero in terms of reliability and connection, mas maganda pa rin naka-postpaid kayo. Okay? Kasi kahit saan, hindi kayo maghahanap na, oy, teka lang, daan muna ako sa SM or kaya daan muna ako sa 7-Eleven, maglo-load ako, kaya punta ka sa tindahan, i-load mo nga to, 'di ba? May kausap ka ng kliyente. Hindi pwedeng ganun tayo, 'di ba? So usually you have to be careful when you're looking up or checking which plan is best for you. Okay? Pwede lang kang sabihin kasi na mataas yung data plan, kaya lang, let's say, 20 gig ka. Ang laki-laki na yung 20 gig, di ba? Parang nakakalula na. Pero, yung 20 gig na yun, guys, madaling maubos na siya ngayon. Before, matagal bago mo maubos or ma-maximize yung 20 gig. Pero ngayon, with the type of connection and the type of data that we're getting, nanonood ka ng YouTube, nanonood ka ng Facebook videos, nagla-live stream ka ng mga balita or mga videos ng mga barkada mo, you're actually maximizing the data cap allowance ng cellphone providers nyo. So, kung ako sa inyo, kumuha kayo ng unlimited na data plan, if in case, in the near future, and then check ninyo yung mga compare the prices. Okay? So, yan. Then, the last one, ito yung pinaka luma pa. This is what we call the dial-up. Okay? So this is actually how we connect. We have there a special device wherein you can actually link your phone lines. So di ba yung RJ45 yung tawag nila noon eh. As in para siyang telepono, wire na telepono. Okay? So i-connect mo yon, iba pa po yung LAN cable. Okay, so it's actually a telephone line that you're going to connect to your computer back then, and you're going to use this particular software that is embedded inside your system. Okay? So, yan po yan. So, you have there the phone number of the provider. So, ito po nga yung actually yung audio niya. Hindi ko lang alam kung ma-share ko sa inyo sa audio. Wait lang. Hindi ko narinig nyo ba guys? Hindi. Yan. So, that is, yan. So, hindi nyo narinig. Wait lang. Hello? Wala, nawala na ako. Hello. Yan. Wait lang guys ha. So, this is actually the application. Now, ito yung software. Wait lang. Let me just change presentation. Okay, wait lang ha. Okay. So the one that we have here in front of you is just a screen. I mean, it shows the sound that we have over the years, ilang years na yan. So this was actually the sound that we have heard 25 years ago. Okay, that would allow us to connect to the internet. Yan. Medyo maingay-ingay yan guys, wag nag-ano. Okay. So, pag nag internet ka ngayon, malalaman ng kamag-anak mo, ng nanay o tatay mo na nag internet ka or kumukonek ka sa internet. Kasi ganun siya kaingay and there is no way for you to remove that because it's part of the protocol. Kasama po yung mismong sound na yun. That's how they are connecting or engaging the connection between computers or for you just to go onto the net. Okay? So, yeah. So, let's just go back to share the PowerPoint. Okay. So going back here, kaya minsan na pag nag-ano kami nag internet pagagalitan kami ng nanay namin. Kasi nga, ang lakas-lakas, magigising kahit sinong, alam mo yun, imagine mo, madaling araw na a lot of people are already fast asleep, tapos marinig mo yung ganyan. Talagang matinis yung tunog niya, guys. Magigising yung mga magigising. Okay, now how do we access the internet? So usually there are a lot of ways on how to connect, especially if you're good connecting with high access. So one thing to for us usually that's available is many schools like UMAC and other businesses allows direct access to the internet using high-speed communication lines. Okay, so sa UMAC guys, alam ko meron na po kayong access. Magkakaroon kayo na access. Yun nga lang ang tanong ko is, hindi naman sa sinisiraan natin pero yung TBL Hub na nga lang is medyo nahihirapan pag lahat nakakonect. So what more kung lahat po makikiconnect pa sa internet. Okay? Then students and employees can access both through organizations' local area network. So ganun din, same as with the school. Okay? Another way of accessing the internet is through ISP. Yan. So dati may mga companies tayong tinatawag na ISP Bonanza. Those are actually the names of the internet service provider. Okay, so bibili kayo ng card. Tapos katulad ng ginawa doon sa dial-up. Usually, you dial up the number that is on the card, the password, the user ID is included, and then makakonnect ka. I forgot. Sa UMAC, dati nagpa-offer sila ng internet access na may bayad. Bibili ka ng, I'm not sure kung naabutan, pero alam ko tagal na nun eh. Pero nakaka-connect ka naman for a certain number of hours. So, 4 hours yung isang 15 pesos yata na access. Yon. So, kukonect ka doon, magbabayad ka. Hanggang basta nandoon ka sa area within the UMAC o buildings and yung area ng gate ng UMAC, may access ka sa internet. Then afterwards, after 4 hours, disconnect na siya. Okay, so we have that before. Then, ISP is a commercial organization with permanent connection to the internet. So example of this one is Microsoft Network, STC Online, and AT&T Networks. Okay. So another component of the internet is the server. So as mentioned before, it is a program that provides services to another computer and its user. So there are different types of servers. Unang-una po, you have application server. So it's a program in the computer that provides the business logic for an application program. Okay? Then you also have web server. Okay, so it's a program that serves the requested HTML pages or files. Okay? Kaya minsan guys, example natin, yung sa kaso ng TBL Hub, di ba minsan pag nagbabog down siya, may makita ka na yung server unreachable yan. Okay? Most of the time kasi ang nangyayari is a specific server can only allow access. Depende kasi yan. Minsan mako-compare nyo, bakit ang Google Meet hindi nagahang samantalang yan yung pinakamalimit na ginagamit ngayon? Bakit ang TBL Hub nagahang samantalang 10,000 users lang yung gumagamit? Less than 10,000, hirap na hirap pa i-connect. Well, because of the web server. Okay? Yung web server po kasi ng Google Meet ay nasa ibang bansa po and kaya nyo pang mag-support ng 1 billion users. Okay? Ganun kataas or hindi lang po 1 billion. Ang alam ko, mas mataas pa. Okay? Kaya nga, di ba, kahit na marami kayo na nagko-connect doon, like Facebook, ganun din. Yung server ng Facebook, sobrang laki yung capacity na kaya niya mag-store ng lahat ng data. Okay? Na hindi siya nagbo-bog down. Okay? Pero yung TBL Hub, since it's actually a paid services ng UMAC, we can only get access or yung access ng mga tao depende sa amount na kaya natin bayaran. Okay? So, kaya po yon. Kaya kung mas malaki yung binabayaran natin, mas malaki yung web access natin or mabibigay na access ng web server. Okay, kaya pag nakita nyo guys na nag-bug down yung or nawala yung connection ng TBL Hub, alam na ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Masyado tayong marami. And this is also the reason kung bakit minsan when we go online, mapapansin ninyo, although nakikita nyo naman, di ba, pag nag-open ako ng tabs, kunyari nagpe-present ako, naka-open yung isang browser ko doon. Nagta-time out siya. Okay? The reason why nagta-time out yung access ko sa computer kasi nga maraming gustong umaccess. Okay? So kung maraming pong gustong umaccess tapos hindi mo naman ginagamit, bibitaw siya sa'yo para yung iba makapasok. Okay? Yan. Next is proxy server. Okay? So proxy server is actually a software that acts as an intermediary between the endpoint device, such as a computer, and another server from which a user is requesting. So parang sinasabi mo dyan, ito yung in between. So ito yung computer nung let's say tumitingin ka ng application sa um, ato, para ito yung proxy server is more of the communication. Okay, communication server. Okay? Parang ito yung mismong network provider mo. Okay? Um, Pwede ito yung smart server. Server ng smart yan. So, yung computer mo ko-connect sa server ng smart. And the server ng smart, pupunta siya ngayon doon sa space, sa page na gusto mong puntahan, which is yung web server na TBL Hub. Okay? So, yan. Now, another component of the internet is the what we call the web browser. So these are actually the ones that I showed earlier. So ito yung pinakakilalang web browser natin. So you have there the Internet Explorer or now what we call the Microsoft Edge. Now this was released back in 1995. So ito yung leading web browser ngayon. Actually magkalaban sila ni Google Chrome. And this is the one included with Windows and it has its own search engine which will be later on. So yung Bing, kanila po yun sa Microsoft. Pero ang ginawa nila, yung Edge na rin, may sarili na rin siyang bot for servers, for searches. Another one is Mozilla Firefox. So this was back in 2004. Now this is similar to IE. It's easy and free to install. Then you have Google Form. Now this is also free. Now this was actually released later on 2008 and it's actually similar to both Firefox and IE. Okay? Kumbaga, lahat ng meron na magagandang best or magagandang components ng IE and Firefox, it's already incorporated in Google Chrome. That's why if you will notice, a lot of people are utilizing, for me, I'm not sure about the others. Although for me, just to be honest, I would prefer Google Chrome. Mas gusto ko yung Google Chrome kaysa sa Edge, which is the one that is provided in the laptop. Okay? Now, mas madali po kasi siyang mag-load ng mga web pages, unlike Edge. Okay? Although sabi nila ngayon maganda na daw ang Edge. Pero itong dalawa kasi ito, yung IE, mabagal, mabagal, mas mabilis na to. Okay? Um, then the other one is the Apple Safari. Now, this is actually the one that is used for Mac OS. Okay? So, kasama na po siya. Then, ang design kasi ng Mac is different from the design of Windows. Okay? So, it has its own design, simplified yung kanyang style, which is the one that is trying to be that is trying to emulate by Microsoft. Okay? Kaya kung papansin niyo later on do sa Windows 11, style Apple na siya. Okay? Yan. Now, next one we have is browser under browsers and search engines. So yeah, so these are actually a way for us to search information inside the web. So usually we have what we call search engine result pages. So when we go to Google, which is the most popular application. So for example, if we go and open a page, wait lang ha. Let me open a browser. Yung browser natin kanina. Okay. So here, diba? So let's open up a new browser. Yeah. So diba, this is your search engine. Okay. And then if in case we look for Samsung Ultra. Yeah. Okay, so this is now your search engine result pages. Okay. And this actually tells you how long did it take it to get the information that you got. Okay? So, going back to this one, so we have yung ginamit natin kanina is Google. And at the same time, you can search any information by writing what is looking based on the text. Now, hindi na lang po siya text. It can also provide you information using maps, related videos, and news. Now latest po, meron na po silang image. So if you have an image there, you can actually search it on Google as well. Okay? So ang gagawin nyo lang po is i-click and drag nyo lang. I-drag nyo siya doon sa Google, tapos si Google na mag-identify ng picture. Okay? And then at the same time, Google has its own email application which is called Gmail. Okay? Now, since we're talking about email, yung server na ginagamit naman for people to receive their emails directly to their laptops or to their cell phones is what we call the mail server. Kaya most of the time, guys, you have to set this up. Okay? You have to follow the steps. Ngayon, hindi na eh. With the advancement of technology, all you need to do is using your Google account. Um, excuse me. You can actually link your email to your servers, ay to your browsers right away. Katulad ng nakikita nyo doon sa anong pinasend ko. Yan. Diba? Pag naka-register ka na dito, you can actually get your Gmail right away. So, i-click mo lang yung Gmail, nandoon ka na kaagad. So, iliload na kaagad yan. Before, you can actually have to set it up. Okay, isa-set nyo pa yan noon. Parang ano yun eh, so let me just give you an example. Here, okay? So I have here, yan, nakita niyo yung food panda ko, delivery. Example here is Yahoo Mail. Now, Yahoo Mail is no longer supported. Pero, ang ginawa nila is, you can still use your Yahoo Mail. Okay? Your Yahoo account. What I did is I added uh, my Gmail account or my personal Gmail account to the Yahoo Mail para pwede ko siyang submit. So usually I ask the permission of the mail server to include the Gmail account kong isa para doon na doon diretso. Pero I can still open my own Gmail account on a different tab. Pero parang ano lang yan, parang centralized lang. I think this is also things that you can get on your cellphone. Di ba pag wag nag-open kayo ng cellphone ninyo guys? Okay, share ko lang. Maaga pa naman. Okay, sandali ha. Yan. Kaya pala. Okay. So here is an example of the one that you have here on your phones. Para ma-maximize yung technology na meron sa inyo, you can actually, kunyari multiple yung emails ninyo, you can actually include it on your phone para dun ka na magko-connect. Okay? Or dun naman nag-kukunin. So for example here, let me just exit. So pag binuksan ko yung application ko, yan. So here, yan. So you have your Gmail accounts. So, ang gagawin mo lang is i-add mo lang. Okay? So, you can add another account here under the settings. Tapos yun yun. So, mapapansin nyo, dalawa yung email ko dito na nakakonect. So, you just go to add to account. And then, once you fulfill the information, i-add na yan ng mail server ng Gmail. Na pag pinadalhan ka, makakuha na notification to your phone as well. Hindi na kailangan magpunta pa sa emails. Okay? Dati kasi ang ginagawa since hindi pa noon kami pala. Nung panahon namin is hindi pa completely mobile ang mga people noon. Wala pang mga cellphone na ganito yung mga cellphone na meron tayo ngayon, ganun ka handy. I have to go to a computer shop or magla-login ako sa computer, magko-connect sa internet, magda-dial up, or whatever connection that I would need to get into the computer. And then that's how I check the email. Ngayon, hindi na eh. That's how advanced that we have right now that kahit na natutulog ka, nagpadala ng message sa'yo o meron ka ng resulta ng exam mo, makikita mo na kaagad sa phone mo. Okay? Lagi na tayo connected. Okay? So that's for mail server. Now, the other one is called the file server. So this is actually where you store all of the files that can be accessed by different computers. So another example of that one is yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung Dropbox, yung Google Drive, Asus Storage, and then you have also Samsung Cloud. Okay, so that's an example of a file server. Okay. So far guys, ang chinek ko, pinakamura pa rin yung Google Drive. Okay, so that's less than 1,000 for 1 year. That's almost, I think that's 2 terabytes na yata yan. Next is policy server. So this is now a security component of a policy-based network that provides authorization services and facilities tracking and control of files. So yun yung mga ginagamit mismo natin sa mga connections. So kailangan meron siyang mga set of rules or meron siyang protocol na sinusunod. Okay? Before you can access yung mga files na yan. Next is IP address. So this is another component. This is your internet protocol. So this is actually a numerical label assigned to each device. Now, it actually provides identity to a network service, okay, or network device. So an example of this one, ito. This is IPv4. Now, we have the latest is IPv6. Mas mataas na siya. That's 128 bytes na po. Mas mataas. So, you will notice this is actually a group of numbers. Okay? So, ano pa makita doon is yung organization. What you can get from an IP is yung organization nyo, yung ISP. Then, IP's host name, yung country, yung region, yung city, and then location via latitude and longitude. An area code. Okay? So, yun yung mga makikita nyo dito. Okay? So, ito, usually this is the country code. Okay? And then yung company, and then that particular area. And yung mismong ID mo. Okay? So, yan po example niyan. An example then, another one. Kaya guys, if you're watching yung mga spy movies, kunyari may nagbo-broadcast ng mga malalaswang video, kailangan lang makuha yung IP address kasi pwede lang i-shutdown yun from a particular site. Okay, so shutdown nila yung site na yun pag nakuha nila yung IP address. Kaya yung mga nanonood ng mga spy network, yung mga ganyang klase mga balita, ang ginagawa nila is hindi nila ini-static to. Okay, umiikot po yung IP address nila. Kasi once na pinpoint sila, kung maghahabulan yan eh, habulan taya. Pag nahabol ka, wala ka na. Okay, so ganun ginagawa nila. Hindi mo makikita to, paikot-ikot yan, nag-i-scramble yan. Kung magaling kang IT personnel, alam mo yun, yung magagaling na mga gumagawa ng mga ginagawa nila, pinapadala nila sa iba't ibang part ng buong mundo. Umiikot yon habang nakukonect siya. Okay? So, hindi mo ngayon ma-identify. Now, kaya ginagawa ng mga magagaling na good hackers, ina-identify nila kung saan naka-pinpoint. Kinukuha nila yung pattern. Kaya mas random yung IP address nila, mas random, hindi sila mahuhuli. Kasi pag nahuli ka balbon, patay ka na. Okay? So next is, yan, URL. Now this is actually yung IP address natin that is identifying the computers. Now usually ginagamit natin dito is words, okay? That tells you where the document is located inside that computer. Now ito po yung example ng URL. So usually it starts with where it's gonna be placed. So for example, sa TBL, it's www. Okay? Kasi po meron pang iba po ang klase. Meron silang tawag nito FTP server. Pag FTP server, FTP din yung ginagamitan niya na URL. Okay? So this is how this is actually what you can find using your URL, yung transfer protocol that is used for transporting the file, the domain name of the computer, the path name of the folder where it's going to be located, and the name of the file. Okay? Kung kanina, IP address tayo, this time it's the complete URL, yung Uniform Resource Locators. So an example of this one yan. Okay? So you have here your protocol, HTTP, then the level domain, which is World Wide Web. Okay? Pag ipaputoy, iba po yung area sa web ka nakakonect. And then here, yung mismong second level domain or yung domain name. So this is the name of the school. So if you will notice, kaya kung siya sinabing school kasi .edu yung top level domain niya. So usually per company, per classification, iba-iba yung top level domain. We will discuss that later. And then here, this is Saudi Arabia, .sa. So since sa Philippines tayo, .ph. Kaya nga diba, tbl.umac.edu.ph sa atin. And then the path name is actually the folder inside the website. You can find the index. Ito yung file mismo. Okay? So example, if you're going to look this up, umac.edu.ph directory, let's see. Oops. Wait na. Yan. So, ano may nakalagay doon? It's UMAC. So, www.umac.edu.ph/directory. Okay? So, yan. So, if you're going to look this up on the web, ito ngayon yung mapupuntahan ninyo. Okay? So, take note of the things that we have here. The main domain, as mentioned earlier. Okay? Yan. So here you have here your, although hindi na kasi, yan. So pag click nyo kasi siya, may feature kasi ng browser yun na minsan tinatago niya na itong part na to. Okay? Hindi na niya pinapakita itong part na to. So ito na lang nakikita nyo minsan. Okay? So if you're going to look this up, so yung protocol niya is HTTPS. Pag may S guys, it means secure. And then third level domain is the World Wide Web. UMAC is the domain name or second level domain. Top level domain is edu, then ph is your country code. And then the path name is directory. Okay? So yan po ngayon yung pangalan niya. Okay. Now, yung mismong hypertext protocol, yung HTTP, so this is actually tells you the compute what type of page that you're looking at. So if you see an HTTP, you're looking at a web page. Pag FTP, yung nakalagay doon, is file transfer. So makikita mo dyan, usually when you look at the file transfer protocol, para siyang directory lang. So for example, let's say ganito. Ito. Okay. So, yan. Kunyari naka-network kasi yan. Although wala akong nakakonect na network. Yan. Ito yung file. Hanapin mo kung ano yung laman ng file. Parang ganito makikita nyo siya pag once you are looking into FTP. Okay. So, example, Pag tinignan nyo yung download. So, ganito yung makita ninyo. Usually, file lang siya. Okay? So, yun yung sa FTP website. So, it's actually a combination of all the files that are being saved. Kumbaga parang cloud storage siya. Pero, file transfer protocol lang ang ginagawa. So, you can only download documents there. Okay? Pwede ka rin mag-upload. Then, www represents the computer server on the site you are viewing. Now, next one is DNS. Okay? So DNS or domain name system is actually like the phone book of the internet where we access information online through domain names. So an example of that one, we have facebook.com, pup.edu.ph, umac.edu.ph. Okay, so ito po yung example ng top level domains natin. So di ba .edu, educational institution. So lahat ng schools, lasal.edu.ph. Tapos pag companies, it's ending with a com. Then org, if it's a non-profit or NGO siya. Then net, if it was a net site. So you have, I think sa Philippines, if I'm not mistaken, um, network of sites. I'm not sure if it's the same with Smart. Let's look at the website of Smart. Company kasi, hindi siya ano. Okay? Since company siya, kaya .com.ph siya. Okay? Anyways, yeah. And then you have also that mill if it's a military division, and then .gov. So an example of that one is your GSIS. So if in case you're going to be working in a government institution, ito po yung best friend ng mga kung gusto makita yung update nila, information nila. So a gizmo, yan, makikita nyo dito, oh, it's .gov.ph. Okay? And if you are going to be in a public institution, so it's sss.gov.ph. Okay? So yan. I'm not sure what, I haven't seen yet a .NET server. Ayon. Tama ba? Inquirer? No, it's not. Network provider. Okay? Netflix is a company, pero yung .NET, pero .com pa rin eh. Okay, dapat mag-end siya sa .NET, but not this one. Because this one is ending with a .com. Dapat .NET. I don't have an example for the .NET. Anyways. Okay, so next is under DNS, you have the subdomain. So ito yung sasabi ko sa inyo sa mga countries. So usually 2 letters lang to tell you about the country. Okay, so example is .sa for Saudi Arabia, .in for India, .jp for Japan, and .uk for United Kingdom. Okay, so yan po. Any questions so far with the different components of the internet? Internet questions, guys? None. Okay. Sige. Since we still have a few more minutes, I'd just like to let me show you some videos that is related to that, to the internet. Okay. So here, by the way, I have the quiz available. You can try that later on. Okay. So I have here 4 videos about the internet. Okay. Change na ako ng screen.
The World Wide Web, where you're likely watching this video, is used by millions of people every day for everything from checking the weather, ordering food, and chatting with friends, to raising funds, sharing news, or starting revolutions. We use it from our computers, our phones, even our cars. It's just there, all around us, all the time. But what is it exactly? Well, first of all, the World Wide Web is not the internet, even though the terms are often used interchangeably. The internet is simply the way